history is made by the Springboks, Orlando Pirates, and, well, you can also add the Jamaicans in as far as the World Athletics Championships. And let's not forget a certain American boxer that made history over the weekend in a boxing match for the ages. Hello to all our viewers in as far as the Arena Sports Show. I am Sizwe Mabena, standing in for Chloe Grace. So I hope I do you proud as you watch on Chloe. And of course, joining me is the influencer. We've got so much to talk about. Yeah. There's so much happening in the world of sports, joined by the influencer.
Mora does it.
No stress.
You have got big shoes to fill.
No, man, I'm feeling the pressure. I'm feeling the pressure.
Well, no pressure. Let's see how this one goes.
Well, let's see how it goes. Again, Chloe, I hope I do you proud of you know watching. But let's talk about your player of the week. And now I've got so much sports happening, as you heard in the intro. I'm hoping it's okay to have more than one. I'm hoping you've got more than one.
Yeah, I'm going to have more than one.
Sure.
I'll start with Orlando Pirates. I think
sure.
Kudos to them for winning. Winning one trophy once is something else, but winning the MTN8 for the 4th consecutive season, something else. I'm also being captained by a teenager, Bogazi. I was very, very impressed with him, but we'll talk about him later. And just what Pirates have done. I think kudos to them, and also I need to give credit to that atmosphere inside that stadium.
It was something else, no?
That's something else.
Unbelievable, yeah?
I always say to people, before I go to my second star of the week, I was at Mbombela a few years ago when the Springboks plays against New Zealand in a stadium. It still to this day remains one of the most unbelievable atmospheres I've had in a stadium. And I've been around stadiums.
And this is the man who's been to World Cups and such, by the way. AFCONs and stuff, by the way.
So yeah, I just think maybe it's because of how the stadium is built. When you pack a lot of people in there, the atmosphere is so thick you can even cut it with a knife. So it was unbelievable. Kudos to the locals who made a good atmosphere. And my second and final star of the week is the Springboks. Also there, I will tell you something. I was in Wellington in 2018 with the Springboks. When we went there as no hopers, and they beat the All Blacks inside the stadium. So there's something about the Springboks and the cake tin. Because that stadium is the nickname of the stadium is called the cake tin.
They're saying it's the future of the Springboks that scared the world about this particular win, though.
So yeah, I think they did well. To beat the All Blacks is one thing, but to beat them by a record score is quite another. The Argentinians must be very afraid. Because
they're next. I was always asking who's next. You're next.
Because they're next, So yeah, those are my two, Orlando Pirates and the Springboks,
my two, maybe I should say, two.
You want to go with three?
I wanted to say, I'll tell you why I wanted to say three.
I don't think Chloe's going to agree with you, but we'll see.
World Athletics Championships, Oblique Seville, 24-year-old from Jamaica, winning the gold. I don't know, there's something about Jamaicans I like in the rivalry between them and the Americans. As far as the 100 sprints.
And I saw you said Bolt going.
You said Bolt's reaction was beautiful as well, It looked like a fan. But it's the 1 and 2 I like. It's not just the gold and silver, which is why I feel like giving them 2 there. And also Terence Crawford. I love boxing. Watching it from a young age. My father used to get me into it. But I mean, to jump up the weight classes he did against the face of boxing, undefeated at 38 years of age. I mean, we saw, you and I will remember this well, Floyd Mayweather schooled Canelo, who was 23 at the time. And Canelo was schooled again here by a smaller man who had no chance, who was supposed to lose the match. That was worth staying up for.
It was nice,
Great sporting weekend, and those are my stars of the week.
It was a big weekend. I hope people enjoyed it. Sports just keeps on being the gift that keeps on giving. So we're all here for it.
Forever and a day. So before we get into our chat for this week, let's firstly go into our headlines. After the FIFA international window, where Bafana beat Lesotho and drew with Nigeria, and the MTN8 final that was won by Orlando Pirates, attention turns to the bread and butter issues of the Betway Premiership. The Springboks have returned home after their record-breaking 43-10 victory over the All Blacks, and coach Rassie Erasmus' men are now targeting Argentina in Durban next weekend. Proteas women take on Pakistan women in their ODI series in Lahore as part of preparations for the 2025 ICC Women's Cricket World Cup to be hosted in India and Sri Lanka next month. Well, let's get on to the bread and butter of what we're talking about this week. And let's start with the big local story. It's down in Mbombela. You already spoke about the turnout. We have to talk about the actual game itself now. What a game. I, at 0-0, at 90 minutes, still thought it was a quality game of football. Two quality sides, entertaining, how maybe Pirates edge Stelli's Hanyani first half, and maybe you can argue Stelli's then edge Pirates Hanyani first half without the goals though. Yeah,
I guess, just to reflect on that match, as a reporter, it's a nightmare.
Yeah?
Because of deadlines and stuff, when they go
No. Sure.
Yeah, having been a 6 o'clock kickoff, when 8 o'clock, we start getting a bit worried because of extra time. But we managed, good game, not a classic in a way, far
good
from
quality
it,
football.
but yeah, the good quality football. I think Pirates, just because of the quality that they have, last season, one of the things which were, or maybe the allegations which were leveled against Pirates was they didn't have enough depth on the bench. Now they do have. I mean, if you can have a police who played 2 matches for the national team against Lesotho and Nigeria on the bench, that says a lot about you, and many other players that are on the bench. And also the important thing is that match was won from the bench. The goal scorers came from the bench. The assists came from the players who were coming from the bench. It just shows you that it's very important to have a strong bench. For Stellis, and the coach admitted to it after the match that maybe he may have got it wrong in terms of his substitutions. And I mean, you also have got a lot to say about it because you noticed how the changes that he made in the match affected the way they played.
And the time of the changes. Mochela, Titus, Barnes, Mtiani. For me, all of the best players, including, most importantly, maybe many people don't speak about God's will in the right back position.
Where he kept Rele quiet.
Rele was quiet. He had Rele in his back pocket. Not to say Rele in the back game, but that guy had Rele quiet. You take him off and suddenly Pirates is bombing on the left side. You got problems on the right side. And Rele obviously moves to number 10. And you got other issues now with Apollos on the right, Bilibili being dropped back. I mean, the shuffling for Pirates is crazy.
Yeah, and also it talks to, sometimes you find matches where coaches don't know what to do or don't know how to go to plan B. The Pirates coach did that very well, changing things around, and the masterpiece was also moving Rele to 10. When
key passes, gave me the key passes that opened up Stelli's.
Sipombule, obviously, is a guy who people like and that kind of stuff, but he didn't give Pirates what Rele gave in the second half. Because Sipo obviously likes to spend too much time on the ball. Sometimes he get carried away with the crowd, and he doesn't normally head people by going forward. But Rele, was more incisive going forward, and that's where he managed to unlock the defense of Stellenbosch during extra time, which is also what needed, because if the match kept on going, there's no goal, it's half time of extra time and the second half of extra time, things would have been a bit different. But I think just a little bit of quality and also the thinking from the coach made a lot of difference. And it's good for Pirates that they've won.
Big question amongst the questions that we ask, having looked at the Pirates coach and some of the changes that are coming in the tactical approach. Early crosses coming in, instead of the white players sometimes coming in to shoot and score goals themselves, they're now creating for a player like Mabasa. If he's at the right place at the right time, he could score double figures this season with that type of service that we saw. Yeah,
because he actually did touch on Mabasa during the press conference that Mabasa is a box player.
Nothing more.
To be in the box to finish. He's a little bit different to Mahopa, who is a guy who can get outside the box, hold when the other guys are arriving, but also he prefers to start with Mahopa so that he can tie up the opposite defenders. And Mahopa plays that role very well. He chips in with a goal here and there.
No, he's a quality player.
He pretty much took them to the final. I think he scored in one of the legs against Sundowns. But Mahopa, I think, Mabasa also, because of the maturity that he has, he understands that he's not going to start all the matches sometimes because it's not about him, it's about the team. So on that attacking line, I think Pirates have just got a lot of
options.
You've just mentioned Zapolish, you've mentioned Sipombulu, you've mentioned Mufokeng, you've mentioned Sebelebele. Sebelebele, who can actually play as a right back, but I think they need to use him more going forward because he can attack, he can really be dangerous when he goes forward. And it's not only the attacking line that where Pirates are very good. I mean, in the midfield,
Nduli.
You have got Nduli
Mbata.
that's just done well. Mbata, Makaula is not
Still
even playing.
injured, yeah.
So they look like they will be a settled team. Cubs obviously are different. I would love to see them, how consistent they can be in the league. They've already lost too much in the league, by the way. Let's not forget that. Also coming back, if you look at the back, I was extremely impressed with Bogazi. I've always said, even though I love the boy, I think he's one of the best players we've seen in a while. Sometimes he uses too much power. And, also, I think, to a large extent, the referees have defended him quite a bit.
Can I not juxtapose that a little bit?
Yes.
The power conversation.
Yeah.
Let's just stay there. It's one of those situations where sometimes you're thinking, hey, he doesn't know his own strength when he's coming into the power against maybe the South African players. Then we saw us against Nigeria, those giants of Nigeria. And then it's a nice matchup because he's even smaller than them height-wise. Then it didn't seem like he was forcing the issue. There was a proper battle for power, and it was still legal on the international stage to an international referee. So is it not maybe against the smaller South African players? It looks as though he's bossing it around power-wise, but internationally he'll be okay.
Yeah, it may be that maybe when he comes across the smaller physiques of South Africans, he looks like he's bullying them because he's just pushing them around. But,
you know what I mean?
But I mean, there was a moment in the Nigeria match where he pushed this the number 21 of Nigeria just out of the park.
Abushira or something.
And then Apollo collected the ball and then they moved.
Even Lukman.
It's not a bad thing
power,
for a defender to have power because, I mean, if he doesn't leave, going to a Champions League, that's what you're going to need in the Champions League because the boys are bigger.
That's what I mean, the international stage.
The quality is different. You get tested a little bit more there. So maybe, it will work for Pirates there. But I was also just impressed with the way he played football. He played. There's a pass in him. There's a vision for some guy who's only 19. As South Africans, we should be happy that we are producing a youngster of exceptional quality.
I'll tell you, he's 19. My favorite line is 6 months ago, we didn't know who this guy was.
Yeah, we didn't.
We had no clue.
Yeah.
Yes, if you watch DGC, but you still couldn't imagine
that
he was going to have the impact he's going to have.
I can tell you now, in the first match at AFCON, he will be there.
Sure, but now, Champions League, within the first 2 months of your professional career, we're talking semi-finals, big matches, Buma Sundowns. We're talking tough matches, Nigeria. We're talking still, first few months, MTN 8 final, but now you're the captain. You're starting the season at Orlando Pirates with the armband. I mean, we've seen Mbekezeli do the same. But this is truly unbelievable.
It is unbelievable. And obviously, with the issue of the captaincy, I don't have a problem when deserving, even young players get that responsibility. The key thing for me is going to be the systems must be right for him to be well looked after. If you're a captain of Pirates, Chief Sundowns at 19, it comes with a lot of responsibility. I mean, this is a guy who now, I don't think Mbokazi now can have the luxury of going to Bram. Going to Bram and have a drink.
No, forget about it.
On a Friday night.
Forget about it. Forget about it. Skip that.
He's going to have to, that social life is not going to be there. He's not going to go to a mall and don't get mobbed by people. That comes with a lot of responsibility. I don't have a problem with him being the captain. I think, as I said, if you're good enough, you're old enough, you need to do it. It's the same as a young player who must get a chance to play. I just hope that the systems are
in place.
To make sure that all these things does not get into his head and he becomes a different person.
He comes across as someone from such humble beginnings. Humble young lad, humble beginnings. In KZN, he comes across as that. I don't really know his home story. But I'll tell you a story. When I first started commentating, we're doing a game in Rustenburg. Night game. So from the stadium, we go into the KFC by the taxi rank. I'm with Max Maponyani and Deshi Baktawi. I'm still new. And it's about 9 at night or so. It took us 45 minutes to get in and out of that.
Because
everyone was just, Max and Deshi couldn't get out.
Because they were big stars.
So I'm stuck with them, just waiting while everyone, Max, Saina Mona. Now, these are guys that then maybe in their 40s at that time.
Yes.
They've gone through it. Here's a youngster who's 19 now who could struggle the same way, just going to what would be normal to him. Go to checkers.
It is what it is.
And now that's right off the table now.
Every time he's going to fill up at a petrol station.
It's a conversation.
Yeah, I mean, you know. And also you must also remember, there's also the downside to it.
That's what I'm talking
about. If he has a bad game.
Yes.
The people will start talking. We live in the days of social media where people can say whatever they want to say. People are vile on social media. They can really say some hateful stuff. So it's going to be very important to sort of build a ring of steel around him to make sure that there's continuous support, all kinds of support, be psychological and whatever he needs. It looks like Pirates have done well with Rele. He was in the same situation as where Mbokazi is now.
But I was also following
a few months ago. Mbokazi was following in the same direction. So it looks like maybe Pirates knows how to look after these young players. And you know,
what you say that? By Steve, I mean so he was also young at the time. So. Sure.
You know, in the past, maybe somehow they really didn't manage. But yeah, Pirates have got a history of producing very, very good young players. Over the years, they've done that, and you know, this is the latest one, really. Don't forget Selepe, the defender also.
Yes.
He's another guy who does not get the recognition he deserves, but he's also stepped up. He's somebody who obviously lives a little bit in the shadow of Mbokazi. He's not that visible, but also he's in the same situation. There's going to be a lot of pressure on these kids. Going forward, hopefully they will. It's an opportunity. Take it and run with it.
Bogazi, stay on him. Internationally now. Firstly, rumors that people outside the borders of Africa, not South Africa,
are knocking,
are watching at the very least and taking interest, and maybe sending 1 or 2 scouts. And then the debates begin, and I'll start one of them with you. Some are saying no, stay at Pirates a little bit longer. I have no problem 1 or 2 years at Pirates if you're still playing Champions League to the latter stages, if you're still competing 50 games a season, which is the standard for the very best players, which is the standard Sundowns have set for themselves over the last 10 years. So if Pirates follow suit, but I'm not talking for too long, I'm talking maybe a year or 2 extra. I have no problem with that, but you have to be playing at the highest level, internationally, at club level, and on the international stage as well. What do you think about the prospect of moving from Bogazi?
It's a very... Timing must be right with these things. The same thing I said about Rele, that with AFCON approaching, excuse me, the timing may not be right for a young player to leave. Because if you leave and then you don't play there,
it affects.
It may affect selection for AFCON. And it's absolutely important that these 2 kids must go and play AFCON. Already, Rele has missed out on junior tournaments. Bogazi has missed out on AFCON when they qualify for the World Cup now in Chile. There are issues around him, whether he's going to be available for the Under-20 World Cup and stuff. So if he's going to miss all these junior tournaments, then he has to go and play at AFCON. I would say wait, play Champions League now, help Pirates to progress, take Pirates to the knockout stage of Champions League, take them as far as you can in the league, go to AFCON, and when you go to AFCON, maybe he doesn't come back. He leaves after AFCON. But remember, there's also a problem after AFCON because the World Cup is coming if you qualify. If you have a good AFCON, you get signed by whatever club that signs you, and then you leave. Then you get there, you don't play, and then Coach Hugo has got a situation whether to pick you or not to pick you for the World Cup. The timing is just not right. And also you don't want these highly promising young players sitting in South Africa. Not that it's bad for them to sit in South Africa, but if they move to bigger clubs in Europe, then it's a bigger step up also. The issues of them making a little bit of more money for their families and stuff. So they are in a very difficult situation now. I really, my heart says stay, my head says goes. I don't know.
I'm glad I'm not his agent. There's another issue that's worth discussing with Bogazi. His height. He's not that tall for a central defender.
Yeah.
In places like England, places like England, it'll work against him. I'll give you another young, promising youngster who was a centre back, Rivaldo Kutia. He was also challenged in the height department. How important is it for Bogazi, if he is to leave, to choose the right place, playing the right football that accommodates
Yeah, it's going to be critical. I
his
think,
height.
given the
But it's not a
robust,
disadvantage.
there's never going to be any issue with him with
No, not physical.
in
I'm
a
talking
physical
height.
league. Yeah, in England, yeah, the height is maybe a bit of a situation.
Or do you see him possibly being moved to defensive mid? Mbekezeli was moved to midfield by Tottenham.
I just don't know that in his development, maybe DDC and stuff, has he played a little bit forward? And how good can he be?
Yeah.
Left-footed players are always the right currency, even for a defender. Maybe suited for a league like France, Belgium, Portugal. But I mean, you can imagine in England, look at those boys there, like a Haaland. I mean, if he comes against Haaland too. Not that Haaland, he would not be bullied by Haaland, but just a height issue, crosses, set pieces, and those kinds of things. Maybe an issue for him as a defender at that level, but I've got no doubt he can play at any of the leagues in Europe tomorrow. It's just an issue of the fit must be right. He must go to the right place, must go to the right environment, so that he must continue to grow, but yeah, I think he can be more suited to a France, to a Portugal, Spain. England, Italy, those are, and the boys are tall.
Yeah, height matters there.
Yeah, I mean,
you know what I mean?
it can be tough there, but whatever happens, they must find the right place for him to go because, over the next few months, he's definitely going to overgrow our league.
Now, the big question around him again, because it's a huge talking point, Bogazi, as was Ngota, these youngsters that are just blowing our minds with their maturity and the levels at which they're able to perform. Bogazi now, there's the issue of the Under-19 World Cup. Now, before we get to Bogazi, I asked Aaron Mogoena not too long ago, we were having a chat. So, Jay, questions you'd like to ask. Who's the toughest striker you ever came up against? Keep in mind, this guy played Ajax, Amsterdam, he played England. He played against some of the best African players here when he was playing on the continent. He's played in the World Cup against Diego Forlan and them, and he shocked me with his answer. He says Emil Heskey from Liverpool. So I said, Heskey? He's like, yeah, but not as professionals, as junior internationals. He was at some tournament and played against Heskey, but they were junior internationals. Says at that time in his life, he had never played anyone that big, that strong, that robust. And for him, it was a lesson that he then carried when he went abroad. Now, we're talking to a young Bogazi, and the same question, we're talking about height and robustness, and because Nto's not a small fellow, Mbazo. And he had to learn the lessons young. And so, you know what I mean? So, he's in Basel for a reason, But he still had to learn those lessons at junior international level. I've spoken to guys that said, no, they played against Peter Crouch at junior international level for the first time, I think at the Toulon tournament or something. And bullied by Peter Crouch. But those were lessons they learned, and they later became internationals and moved abroad and so on. For Bogazi, those lessons, how important are they to him now as a 19-year-old?
Critical. I mean, if you go over the years on the Under-17, Under-20 World Cups, and you look at the players that played at those tournaments, a significant number of those players went on to become world superstars. There's no top player in Europe who has not played Euro Under-17 or Under-20. Talking about the Toulon, I was with Bracheix in France for that Toulon tournament. The late Leslie, Ninja Mufukeng,
yes,
Tukutuku, and that generation. And one of the players that played against us from Ireland was John O'Shea, who went on to play for Manchester United. And there were other young players from other countries who went on to become big superstars. So it's very, very important for these young players to go and play there. I would really, really love to see Mbokazi play that level, because the other thing is that I would love to see him being tested at that level, because there you are going to find kids who are playing for Manchester United, for Arsenal, for Barcelona, for AC Milan, and exceptional good players. And he needs to be tested there. I know he will hold his own, but he needs that level of test so that we can really gauge and see, okay, no, he has arrived now. Because those young players are very. Can you imagine if we were to play against Spain and he's up against Lamine Yamal? That's a proper test, So that's where he's supposed to be tested. I hope he goes, but obviously if he doesn't go, you have to understand Pirates.
They need to answer today, man. We must sit down and talk.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think they'll have to sit down with Pirates
he's got a point.
And really find a way, because the experience that he will gain at that tournament is going to be very, very valid, and also he will be a big plus for our team
as a leader,
experience and all that, and quality and all that kind of thing. So
6 months worth of experience, but unbelievable experience.
So yeah, it's the Safa and Pirates needs to get themselves in a room and really discuss it, find a way. Obviously with the coach. I mean, even if he's been given a separate program away from the rest of the players, so that the loading is proper, he doesn't come back here, he's tired and all those things. Because you must remember, there's also an AFCON coming, so you may have to come back there and go straight to AFCON and all those kinds of things, Champions League and stuff. There's a lot, but I'm sure they must find a way. But I would really, 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 really love to see him play the World Cup. Shande is going. A few other players will be going there. So yeah, it will be very important. Yeah. But I mean, for now, I've not seen anything like this in a while.
Since Mabeza.
But
although we must pick up, and I need to say this. His name escapes me now, but captain at Swallows as a 19-year-old, went on to play Sundowns, Chiefs.
Not Rama.
Rama.
Yeah.
As a 19-year-old, was captain of Swallows.
Yeah.
So
it's possible, yeah.
Yeah, it's possible.
The only thing I want to caution,
players,
I want to caution against is that let's not compare him to Ojan Mabeza. We'll be making a very big mistake.
You know, last time we had this chat, last time I was here, you and I had we had that conversation.
We shouldn't do that.
But at that point, you hadn't played Nigeria and bossed Nigeria around.
We shouldn't do that.
Yeah?
We shouldn't do that.
No?
In my humble opinion, a player as good as Mabeza is not yet born in this country. That's how highly I rate Ojan Mabeza. He was a different. He was a different.
It was the Cruyff of our.
No.
The Johan Cruyff of our time. Huh?
Yeah, no.
As a defender, you know what I mean.
Mabeza is a once in a generation talent.
And Bogazi?
He's good. He's good. He'll grow. Maybe with time he can get there, but for now, let's not make that mistake. Nowhere near.
All right, let's talk about his teammate, Rele. We saw what happened in the international window.
Yeah.
We saw the tough test against Godswell in the final. Again, I'll give that to Godswell as a battle won between two players. But once he moves to number 10, he destroys Stellenbosch, which teaches us that there's still more to come from Rele. What are your impressions of him? And I don't want to say struggles this season. I think it's a bit harsh, but look, there's some learning curves. I think for the first time he's running into a few potholes in the road. He's not a bad player. He's still a great Rele.
Another exceptional talent.
Yeah.
Also, young, quality.
Unbelievable on his day.
Unbelievable on his day. He can unlock any defense whenever he wants to. I think there's been a lot of stuff happening around him behind the scenes. He wants to leave, but I think Pirates have not found the right fit, or maybe it may be an issue of Pirates have not found people who
the right suitor,
environment and also money. Because we need to be fair to Pirates. They've developed this young boy when they got him from School of Excellence. They've spent quite a significant amount of time and money on him, and they will want to make sure that they cash in on him. And it's fair in a free market. If I want that head, if we say it's 5 francs, I need to pay 5 francs.
Sure,
so whoever wants really needs to come up with the money.
No, for that argument.
And I understand as a young man, when he sees he has Europe and all the stuff, and Mkota has left, even though it's not in Europe, but it's going to life-changing. It will get to him. He has not been as himself lately. Really, sometimes when you watch, when you see him around at Pirates, around other players, and at Bafana recently, where I was in Bloom, he's a guy who's always smiling. That smile was not there quite. It's a bit dim. It talks to whatever is happening behind the scenes, and I just hope that whatever is happening is for his benefit. He's still a young man who needs advice, parents, the club, and advisors, and that kind of thing. And the coach didn't say this in so many ways, the Bafana coach, but I think the reason why he was not playing against Lesotho in Nigeria was sort of just to protect him in a way, because there was a lot of noise around him. And let's be honest, he has not been playing well. I mean, of all these matches before the final, he had not scored a goal and assist and all that kind of thing. And for an attacker, that's the currency. So let's hope the performance in the final will make him fall in love with the game again and continue playing. Because if he doesn't really play, there may be a problem for AFCON for him.
I saw his reaction to the first goal and his message to the fans almost, where he ran, not necessarily in support of the goal scorer, but to say to the fans, yeah, you know what I mean? It's me, I did this, we did this, but I'm still here, I'm still present, I'm still, like, almost feeling like he has a point to prove.
Yeah.
And I thought maybe this will kickstart your season. And
yeah, I think that meant
if I read that body language right.
I mean, that performance, especially in that short spell in the extra time, when they just put their arm around Stellenbosch and they squeezed and they suffocated them. He was devastating in that moment, and that's what you want to see from him. He unlocked them. He was a big problem for them, and hopefully, going forward, we'll see much of that. But I'm sure also, let things be fair for him. He deserves to move. As to where and how, that's another story. The one thing I can say here is that he must never ever go to that thing of the US.
The US?
No. That league is not a league where you can take our best young players. It's just it will be a waste of time.
Last couple of players,
they must never even
last couple of players went there. We can argue they didn't necessarily. Blom went there, came back, and
that league is not the league where we should be taking
Cassius went there and sort of.
Europe, right environment. There are good leagues in Europe, man. A lot of people are not taking too much. For an example, I mean, if you look at Imokon has gone to the right environment. It may be the second division, but he will grow there. Very soon you'll see him playing in the first team of that team. Well, if they go to get promoted to the first division, or scouts will look there. He's at the right. He's at the shopping window of European scouts, European clubs. They will look there. Chandra Campbell, same way. He went to go and play for the DDC of that team. Now he's a fully fledged professional footballer for that club. Sometimes maybe you have to take that route. I don't think Rele should go that route. Rele is good enough to go to a first team for a club in the top flight and fight for a place. Same as Mbokazi. So they should go straight, not to take the longer route. Because of, they've been playing regular first team football, the talent is there and that kind of thing. So, yeah, I think there's a lot of decisions that must be taken for these two young kids going forward.
Quite importantly, and we have to mention this, I mean, Pirates right now is playing a central defensive pairing of a 22-year-old and a 19-year-old. Nothing wrong, they're playing well.
Yeah.
They've won a cup final. I'm not suggesting there's a problem there. But in talking about Bogazi possibly at least going to the Under-20 World Cup, Sibia is on the bench lately. Is that a positive? Is that something they could say, we can afford to let him go? I mean, when we're at the early stages of the Champions League only starting now, yes, you want to gain momentum in the league, but with Sibia, the actual captain, possibly fit, can you take that captain and say, look, Vaya Ntwana, go to the Under-20 World Cup, have fun, learn what you need to learn. My captain is here, the actual captain of the team.
Yeah, because, I mean, if you check, Pirates still have Nda, have got CBC, have got Koki. So it shouldn't be a problem. They still have got Sasani also. Sasani is still there.
We're going to afford a month.
I mean, it's not a big deal. I know Koki was involved in that accident when he's probably going to be out for a while. Sasani, I think he started training. He should be ready soon. Da should be ready soon. CBC is training, and he's the actual captain of the side. So you feel, even if Mbokazi doesn't leave, when CBC is fit, he will play with Mbokazi.
Yes.
Because then the young kid, Siema, will have to go to the bench. So I just Pirates have got enough. They've got depth everywhere. I think
they can afford.
No, they can afford to do it. They can
still have a decent run.
No,
that won't disrupt them too much.
There's absolutely no problem there.
Quickly, last one on Pirates, and how good is their scouting? And we know the development is good. Bogazi, Gota, Rele, that's just naming a few. But when you look at the additions, I mean, how good is Apollos? New players at Palace, and the impact these guys are having on arrival, Nduli as well, and many others. How good is their scouting?
I think it's very good. They usually look where nobody else is looking. In the past, they've got their fingers bent a little bit because we have seen so many times they've signed all these players and then in January they are leaving, going to Chipa and all those kinds of things. But now, it looks like they've got the
busy schedule helps as well.
Yeah, I think they've got. I mean, you still have got like players like Bukwahiba, Marigo, and all those guys that are not even playing. Now in the final, they played the boy at right back who has not played in a very, very long time. Libitso. So I think they are doing the good business. They are different to Sundowns, who flirts a lot with South Americans, and I've always questioned that, to say, especially with the ambitions that they have in the Champions League. If you go and closely look at the numbers of the Sundowns South Americans in the Champions League, it's very, very poor. And if they continue in that road, I'm just not convinced that they will win the Champions League. Champions League needs strong African players. Yeah, needs tough guys who can push. So that's where Pirates are different. Chiefs also you can see they've taken a different direction in terms of how they are recruiting now. I think the bigger challenge for Chiefs now is to offload. And offload wisely because they've got like 40 or 41 players. It's too much. Even if you're playing continental football with that number, it's way too much
to manage.
Yeah, because you're gonna have got a lot of guys who are not playing, who are sulking and those things, and it's just not good enough. So their biggest challenge now will be to release. I mean, so that's the challenge that they have.
You brought the next step of the conversation. Chiefs, Sundowns, Pirates. The continent is waiting.
Stellenbosch
as well. The continent is waiting. And it starts Nodilas.
Yeah.
Let's first start with the elephant in the room. Sundowns played Sunday. Usually on the cup final weekend.
At least Sundowns have got to buy this one for Champions League. So but they're continuing with the league.
They're continuing with the league. Yeah. People are talking about the Pirates' postponement of matches, and it's sparked a debate. Where do you stand with it? Because sometimes when we do, or I'm commentating Champions League matches, you look at Sundowns' last game, and then you look at, let's say, Al-Ahly, I'm using an example, hypothetically, and you'll find that in Egypt, Algeria, Tunisia, Morocco, they wouldn't have played. They wouldn't have played midweek.
No.
So that whole week they're excused to focus on the big prize, and it's something we haven't quite gotten right. Maybe one could argue in South Africa. But what do you make of this latest development?
I'm surprised that Pirates are not playing this week. I think they easily could have played. I mean, they played on Saturday in Mbombela. Surely the coach gave them off on Sunday and also traveling day, coming back to Johannesburg. Could have been off. The players could have had time to spend time with families on Sunday afternoon. You could even have had a light session on Monday afternoon to give them even more time to rest.
And don't they have the same situation as Bafana with Lesotho, where their away game is a home game, so to speak?
And they can travel. If they were playing on Wednesday, they could be traveling, or regardless of where the game is. Preferably if the game was in Johannesburg, then they don't have to travel, they'll play that match. And then on Thursday, first stage, you drive to Bloemfontein to play against the Ori of Lesotho on Saturday. Or they could have even maybe requested with CAF to play the match on Sunday. So they should have played. I mean, there's no really... even if this Wednesday match was let's say hypothetically they were going to Durban, they could have left on Tuesday, fly to Durban, play in Durban, and then on Thursday morning you fly straight to come to Johannesburg, and then connect to go to Bloemfontein. So the logistics will have to be done in a way that the players are not too much stressed. Pirates, Sundowns now, they played on Sunday, they're playing on Wednesday. Pirate 27th, they will have played 5 matches since Sunday. It's a lot of football, but I guess with Sundowns maybe they are used to the schedule. They've been doing this now since Coach Pitso was there, traveling on the continent and stuff. For their advantage, at least, they don't have to travel continentally because they've got to buy for the first round of the preliminary matches, not like Pirates. So that's another thing. But I think Pirates should have played. Pirates maybe may find themselves in a difficulty going forward which is something which almost similar happened last season, where they had too many matches behind. Already now, Sundowns are on 6, they're on 5, and they're on top of the log. By the time Paris goes back to play in the league on the 23rd, Sundowns will probably, if they win their next 2 matches, will be more than 10 points clear ahead of them at the top of the log. So that can create scoreboard pressure, because then you have to play catch up. And if Sundowns keep on winning, it may be a difficulty for them, which, you know, if Sundowns gain momentum, they're very difficult to stop. Yeah. So I just don't agree that they're not playing. They should be playing, regardless of whatever the situation is.
Quickly, we need to mention and remind you that we're recording this ahead of the Chiefs Kukune match.
Yes.
Who are currently...
because by the time this show comes out, Chiefs will probably be
the game will have been played. So they're currently, battling for top spot. Yeah. Sundowns is top, but these guys are also in that fight. It's interesting, isn't it? In that Sundowns are coming out of a situation where 3 weeks ago, the coach was under a tremendous amount of pressure, all kinds of talk. And that's a situation that I like to say is unique to South Africa, because in South Africa we have the MTN 8 starting the season. And whether you do well or not, the thing is you're losing to a rival in the MTN 8 semi-finals or final, whatever you get to, early in the season, within the first 2 months of the season, or month of the season. Pito was under pressure following top 8. Lafort had to score goals to save his job, following pressure that came only because of the top 8 and the loss in the top 8. 2 seasons ago, there was a coaching swap, or a few seasons ago, at Sundowns, following the top 8. Here's another top 8 situation, and it comes with pressure for a side that's just come back from South America. We can go back and talk about what they've been doing recently. But, and when you look at the reality of the situation, which is the last time we spoke, I said it to you again, no man, but things can't be that bad, worry. All the fans want this guy out, because here we are 2 weeks later, these guys are on top of the table.
Yeah.
The top 8 is a uniquely South African issue, because it's so, first month of the season,
yeah, and also, I mean, if you really look at the Sundowns this season, obviously they've struggled over the years with MTN 8, and I think some of the fans have just made peace with MTN 8, that it's not a Sundowns thing. But if you look this season, Sundowns didn't lose to Paris in 90 minutes. I mean, it was 1-1, 1-1, and it was on penalties and that kind of thing. I think the issue which makes Sundowns fans angry
is the moving away from the Shushan and Piano.
Is the style of play. Sundowns are not playing anywhere near how they played under Coach Piso and under Coach Rulani.
And throw it back over there as well.
Yes.
Come on.
They used to dominate teams. They used to play beautiful football. I mean, I remember at some stage they had Shiga, Mshishi, they had Bogazi, they had Sereno, they had Peter Shalolile. I mean, when they were attacking you...
Please.
Oh.
Please. Please.
I mean,
even do the CBD era.
Yeah, before that you can throw in CBD, billiard, Pesi, and they were destructive when they attacked you, and that is gone. That is number one. What makes Sundowns fans angry? They want to go back there. They've been spoiled for a long time by winning beautifully. It didn't always work. You need to check the Champions League stuff. With that beautiful football, they never won the Champions League. They not even go to the final. This guy came back with this football now. He went to the final of the Champions League. So you have to look at it differently.
Good point.
You know. There's another issue at Sundowns, the Peter Shalolile issue. Sundowns fans are angry because Peter Shalolile is not getting enough minutes. For a guy who has done so much for the club.
And also so close to...
this has broken the record now.
Yeah, but
it can be
extending.
extending.
For too long, man. It could be extending.
It was too close. He could have broken this thing a long time ago.
Yeah.
But he's not been playing. Obviously, a certain section of the Sundowns fans have appreciated, especially last season, the contributions of Salas, but they feel that Shalolile should be getting more minutes. Reiners has justified his starting place because he has chipped in with a lot of goals.
But now you play them both, you change the shape of the team.
So that's another issue.
Because Shalolile from out wide, is it the same?
Yeah, so those are the dynamics that are there. And then you also, at some stage, they were angry with the treatment of Timberwani. That Timber should have been showed more respect. People must understand, Timber is not going to be playing all the matches, but he should be playing at some stage. Obviously now there are injuries and that kind of thing. He can't play when he's injured, but that made the fans not to be happy. You know,
the thing is, I think even with Hugo Bruce, any non-South African that comes into South Africa, if Temba's fit,
they will play.
Non-South African coach, coming into South Africa to coach Bafana or Sundowns. If Temba's fit, first thing they do is they look at his age and then they think, and then as time goes, they realize he buys it. You know,
that is what this guy was doing at the Club World Cup. Now we realize, hey, you know, because he suddenly was available, but he had been available for a while.
He had been available, but Hugo Bruce took a while to learn that lesson. Cardoso, maybe he's a little fortunate, and I'm not saying this he wants the injuries, no, but maybe he's also backed up his argument by the injuries. But let's talk about Timberwani. Look, man, I just want to go through this quickly with you. CAF Super Cup, one time. 3-time Africa Cup of Nations participant in 2015, 19, and 24. CAF Champions League winner. 9-time South African League winner. 9 times. So if he plays this season, it's 10, bro.
Super AFL?
Then there's still the Telkom knockout or Carling knockout twice, the MTN 8 once, the Nedbank Cup once, the FIFA World Cup participated, and African Football League winner. This is one career.
2 FIFA Club World Cups?
2 FIFA Club. Dude. When these injuries come. Now I want to tell you a story. Sunday I'm doing the game on radio. And as Temba was warming up and getting ready to come on, because it's radio, people don't see. So I say, hey, I've got great news. For those that saw Timberwani injured not too long ago, and we're worried if we'll ever see him play again because of his age. The great news is he's warming up and he's getting ready to come on. And he comes on. And those were my words. His back injuries is a thing of the past, don't worry, the career still continues. And I mentioned it that way. But if you're worried, if the career might be coming to an end, I still continuing. A few minutes later, he's leaving the field and he's injured. Now, I feel bad for the way I placed my words. You know, it's almost like you jinxed him. But he's emotional, he's leaving the field. We're all emotional as South Africans. We love this guy. If Clive Barker gives you an endorsement, we love you. It's Clive Barker. When you're still alight and you're still making a name for yourself. Where do we stand with Temba? The AFCON is coming. The World Cup is coming, my man.
Yeah, the Temba issue is a very, very sad one.
He deserves to go to both those tournaments.
Yeah, I actually wrote something this morning for TimesLIVE that I think football owes Timberwani just the chance to finish on his own terms.
One, Sundowns must, no matter the scenario, he must finish the season. If they win the league, he gets 10. That's important.
Yeah,
yes?
you know, because 9 is an odd number.
Double figures, come on, man.
You know,
come on, man. 10.
Yeah.
Round, well rounded. You know?
And also, I mean, I said it 2 weeks before, even when Coach Lwana was still there, to say it's just the course of nature. That very soon you're going to start seeing the decline of a once great footballer.
Still great.
Still great. But, you know, you don't want to see a player sort of going down because of injuries. You know, I think Temba deserved to be, obviously was never going to play every minute of every match and stuff. But him just being there once in a while, rewinding the clock, reminding us what, made us, everybody else, even opposition fans, to fall in love with him. Just wind down nicely at his own pace.
His own terms.
Also sending a message to these younger players. It would have been perfect, you know. But injuries are threatening to to destroy all these things. I hope he comes back. I hope he finishes the season. I hope he's there at the end of the season, lifting the trophy. Well, for some,
which trophy? The Champions League trophy? Or?
No, I don't think Sundowns will win the Champions League.
Yeah.
The team is a little bit light in terms of the Champions League. They may win the league again. I think they've got enough depth and experience to go back. You can just see how they dispatch Mbokazi. That's how you win the champion. That's how you win the league against these awkward so-called small teams. I've been an admirer of the man. I think he's given us a lot of good moments. In my book, definitely the best player of his generation.
His resume speaks for itself.
Yeah, I mean, those numbers. There has not been a player over the last, 8-9 years who has been as consistent as Temba. There's not been a player who has been a good role model for young players. We are yet to see a young player who does not...
We've never seen a picture of the guy outside of a Sundowns kit.
Yeah.
I've never seen it. It's just like,
for when he was
I don't know
at,
what fashion sense he has. I don't know.
You know, a good role model on and off the pitch. He pretty much, he obviously is a human being, but I think he has tried his best to do the right things all the time. And, we don't have a lot of players like that in our country. Some people, fame and fortune turns them into nightmares. And he has been a loyal servant of the game. I hope when he decides to hang his boots, he will still going to stay in the game. Possibly Sundowns will give him some sort of a role within the club to continue at the club, because you can't really see Temba elsewhere but at Sundowns. You talked earlier about the late Clive Barker comparing Dr. Kumalo. The jury is still out. Obviously it's a topic that has dominated debate for a very, very long time. To say, is the comparison is justified because of the impact that he has had on the game. But for me, the two players, and I'll say it this way, for me, the best player that I've seen in the country, I'm not going back to the teenage Dallas and the Jomo Sono.
Yeah, we've seen in our time.
The guys that I've seen.
Yes.
The best player that I've seen is got to be Shus Musheo. And Doctor is there. Ahead of Timberwani, but Timberwani is there also. You still have players like Abu, didn't have a long career, but very, very good. OJ and Gifted Remy. The other guy who really turned it up when he was good was Stephen Pinar. We don't really give him the
Quinton was also fire when he was younger.
You know, so
before he was moved by Sir Alex Ferguson back.
Benny McCarthy, you know, those types of players.
I won't get into the Doctor.
Of course.
As one argument solely because Doctor is my colleague. and we get along. I have no problems.
Also me in Bloemfontein, I had breakfast with Doctor in Bloemfontein. So it's a bit tricky, but I mean, you know, Temba is definitely of the modern generation.
No, he's up there.
He's in the top 5 of the best players who have produced.
Take your pick.
It will be disrespectful not to put him there. This is a man who really, when he leaves, he's going to leave an indelible mark on football in the country. I hope he comes back ready and sort of rise the final chapter of his the season, because he's on the last year of his contract. And I doubt if they'll give him another contract. I think from here, if he doesn't go and play elsewhere, then he's going to have to hang his boots.
We can't not talk. You boys on the, well, not you boys, no, let me be respectful. Returnees to CAF grounds. Kaizer Chiefs,
yeah.
Angola, you stumble, you might not get to the group stages. And we've seen it in the past. Remember Pirates with the team from Botswana?
Yeah. The name escapes me now.
Yeah, the name escapes me. Yeah, they played against them again last season, but 2 seasons ago. They went on the preliminary stages.
Joining Galaxy.
Yes. Galaxy. But Chiefs again, Angola, it could easily, when you look at this generation of Angolan players, what we've seen, the local players from Kosafa level, you can't sleep on the Angolans right now. You can't sleep on those guys.
No, the football in Angola is very strong. I think over the last few years, they had that team that was always out and about in the knockout stage of Champions League. I think of the southern region, it's probably in the top 3 of the best leagues. South Africa, you have got Zambia, you have got Angola. It's a very, very strong league. I think Chiefs will make a mistake if they, because this team is a largely unknown team. It's not one of the top teams there. But the fact that they are there shows that they did well last season. Yeah, it's good to see Chiefs back in that stage. And I've always been saying that continental football these days in the Comfort Cup, there is a lot of money to be won in that tournament. So it's worth giving it a shot. You have seen over the last while, with especially the North African teams, they're getting stronger and stronger. So the good teams fall into the Comfort Cup. So you are going to find the seeded teams that are there, maybe 4 or 5 teams that are very, very strong. And you are going to meet them elsewhere, especially in the knockout stages. This year, therefore, you have got Wydad in there. It's not no. It's quite the serious stuff. Most of the teams there also are well run. They're professional. It's teams that have got ambitions of breaking that monotony of the Sundowns, the Al Ahlis and the Zamaleks and whatever in the Champions League. They want to get there. So it's not an easy league. You can have it easier in the preliminaries and the group stages, but when you get to knockout stages, that's when the real stuff starts, because the best teams will be there. And more often than not, the teams that you will find in the knockout stage of the Comfort Cup are the teams that will easily be in the knockout stage of the Champions League, if they are there. So it's a serious tournament. They need to compete there. If they can't finish second this year or next season, stay there, compete at that level. The players must gain continental experience so that the day they qualify for the Champions League, it will be a seamless process, because
and
it will be very good.
The players playing there anyway.
Yeah, it will be very good also for the national team to have the Chiefs players constantly playing in the Champions in the Comfort Cup or the Champions. So it will be, imagine if we got Sundowns, Pirates, and Chiefs on the continent, and Skukune, Stellenbosch, or whatever the so-called smaller sides also aid in numbers. I mean, Stellenbosch went all the way last season in the Comfort Cup. So it's possible. If Stellenbosch can do it, I'm sure Chiefs, with better resources, and now the way they've signed players, surely they can give it a crack here. So I'm happy to see them there. Kalim Black Label is starting. I want to see them.
There's that as well, no?
Yeah.
The penalty
it will be very, very nice for the tournament and also for the vibe. I mean, Paris has just won.
Sure.
They go push, and they must stay in that top 4 or 5 on the lock. I said it here last week that if you have got Chiefs, Pirates, Sundowns, Stellenbosch, Skukune pushing, it's going to be nice distance. It's going to be very, very nice. We need Chiefs up there. They don't have the divine right, but they'll have to fight for it. But if Chiefs are competing, they add a complete different dynamic to this thing. And because of just the support that they have and all the stuff.
Well, so far they are competing and doing well since the start of the season. We've had a great start to the season so far. We just came out of a great weekend. We're looking forward to more great sporting weekends and talking points as well as we push forward.
World Cup qualifiers coming next month.
World Cup qualifiers next month as well. So much to talk about.
Springboks, Proteas,
the tennis are still
cricket,
going on.
The World Championships, the women Proteas are going to the World Cup. Puningi.
Yes, bye.
Yeah.
And Chloe as well. Chloe will be back. The song we'll be listening to on the way home is "We Miss You, Chloe. Where are you?"
I don't know if she knows that.
I don't think she knows.
It's a discussion for another day.
But yeah, sure, you'll be back next week, and we hope you've enjoyed this.
Are you
edition.
coming back next week?
Yeah. Time allowing, if my schedule allows, I'll be back. So yeah, hopefully the three of us will all be back next week as a team.
Just
And
us.
thanks for joining us, and we hope you enjoyed the chat. Until next time, click.
Click, bang.